Join me in England's Lake District, where I go to the villages of Rydal and Grasmere. I visit the home of the famous poet William Wordsworth, and I go on a hike into the mountains for fabulous views across several lakes. The Lake District National Park is situated in the north of England and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's known for its stunning landscapes, including lakes, mountains and forests, and is a haven for nature lovers, outdoor enthusiasts and literary fans. This weekend I've come to the Lake District in the north of England. I live only about an hour from the Lake District, so that's quite lucky. Normally I don't have to stay overnight, but this time I'm staying overnight because I've got a few things that I'd like to see. At the moment I'm at Rydal Hall and the gardens here are free to visit. Rydal Hall was built in the early 1600s and has been the ancestral home of the Fleming family for many generations. The family were prominent figures in the area and the estate played an important role in the local community. The grounds include formal gardens, a terrace garden and a peaceful woodland area with trails that lead to the Rydal Beck, a small river that runs through the estate. There is also a famous waterfall called Rydal Falls. The grot, or grotto, was built in 1668 by Sir Daniel Fleming and designed as a place to frame and enjoy the spectacular Rydal Falls. It's one of Britain's earliest examples of a viewing station. William Wordsworth was particularly fond of the grot, writing about it in one of his earlier poems, An Evening Walk, and visiting with his nephew shortly before his death. Rydal Mount was the home of poet William Wordsworth from 1813 until his death in 1850. The house dates back to the 16th century and the interior features many of Wordsworth's personal effects, furniture and mementos. Unfortunately, the house is closed to visitors on Fridays and Saturdays, so I wasn't able to go inside. St Mary's Church was built in 1824 primarily to serve the residents of Rydal and the surrounding areas. It was commissioned by Lady Le Fleming of Rydal Hall. William Wordsworth was a churchwarden here in 1833 and 1834 when he lived in Rydal Mount nearby. Rydal Cave is a large cavern on the north side of Lochrape Fell, above Rydal Water. This famous lakeland beauty spot is actually man-made as a result of slate quarrying. You can use the stepping stones if you want to walk inside the cave. It's lunchtime now and it's just starting to rain, so I'm going to get back to the car and drive on to Grasmere village, which is where I'm staying overnight, and there are quite a few interesting things to see in the village. I'm now on my way to Grasmere village centre. I'm taking this path which is like the back way on alongside the river, and it's quieter coming this way. Situated in the heart of the Lake District, Grasmere is a picturesque village for those seeking to experience the natural beauty and literary heritage of the area. Grasmere offers a mix of outdoor activities, history and relaxation. Grasmere is the name of the lake here as well as the village. The Wordsworth Daffodil Garden was created in 2004 as a wild garden on land owned by St Oswald's Church that was deemed unsuitable for burials. This is Dove Cottage, which was the home of William Wordsworth and his sister from 1799. William Wordsworth was an influential poet, known for his significant contributions to the Romantic movement in English literature. He was born in 1770 in Cockermouth, which is 25 miles from Grasmere. The Lake District is an area that profoundly influenced his work and inspired his love for nature. The house was originally built in the early 17th century and was previously a pub before Wordsworth rented it. After marrying in 1802, it became the family home of his wife Mary and their 3 oldest children until 1808. Wordsworth described his home and the garden surrounding it as the loveliest spot that man hath ever found. The attached museum offers permanent exhibits tracing the poet's life and a series of changing exhibitions throughout the year. Wordsworth's poetry was written in the language of ordinary people to show that men who do not wear fine clothes can feel deeply. Wordsworth's poetry often focused on nature, the beauty of the rural landscape, and the simple life of rural people. This is St Oswald's Church. It goes back to about the 14th century. In the graveyard you can find all the graves from William Wordsworth and his family. The church stands in an idyllic location beside the River Rothay and was built on the site of an earlier 7th century church. It's named after St Oswald, a 7th century Northumbrian king and saint. The church is also known for its annual Grasmere Rush-bearing festival, a tradition that dates back hundreds of years. Rushes were plants used to cover the church floor to keep the building warm and sweet smelling. This practice stopped in the 1800s when the floors were flagged, but the ancient custom still continues in 5 churches in Cumbria today. Every year there is a festival where local children carry the rushes through the village to the church. The coffin route is a popular hiking route today. It was traditionally used to carry the dead from Rydal and Ambleside for a Christian burial at St Oswald's Church. On this route you can also spot the large stones which were placed beside the path and used to lay down the coffin and give the pallbearers some relief. Kendal mint cake is a famous sweet originating from the town of Kendal about 17 miles from Grasmere. It was first created in the 19th century and is known for its strong minty flavour and high energy content. The cake is widely available in many shops throughout the Lake District. The village is also famous for Grasmere Gingerbread, a unique sweet treat invented by Sarah Nelson in 1854. The original recipe is still used today and the gingerbread is sold from the tiny shop next to St Oswald's Church. For lunch I had carrot and butter bean salad with tahini dressing, sweet potato and black bean roll, and a ginger beer to drink. Victorian villas sit comfortably beside hotels, galleries and shops catering to tourists. You can also find a few outdoor shops here if you need them. This building is Allan Bank House and William Wordsworth thought it looked like an eyesore when it was first being built, but once it was finished he moved in here in 1808 with his family. And just in front of me now you can see the white building which is my accommodation for this evening. I've just been to the shop and bought some Kendal mint cake. That's a typical sweet I think is only sold in this area, so you can't really buy it outside of Cumbria, although I'm sure you can buy it online nowadays. There's different varieties, so you can get ones with chocolate around them. These are for gifts. I've just had a tooth out, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to eat these at the moment. This one in particular I know is very, very sweet. It's really, really sugary. So there are some drawbacks about the Lake District, as there is about anywhere nice that people might want to go. My number one drawback is expensive. Now I've stayed in this guest house, which I'm going to show you in the video now. I stayed here at Glenthorne Guest House, costing about half the price of local hotels. The rooms are simple but adequate. The guest house is located within 5 minutes walk of the centre of Grasmere village, and the majority of the rooms come with a private bathroom. The grounds have a large car park which is free for guests and lovely gardens. Another difficult thing about the Lake District is the parking. In Grasmere, for example, just outside the village they have built like 3 quite big car parks. So I've always been able to park in Grasmere. It's August at the moment, so I've stayed overnight and I got parking included at where I'm staying, because I'm not sure how easy it would be in August to park. I normally come for the day because I only live an hour away and I normally avoid August. I tend to come on Fridays because I don't work Fridays and the weekends are always busier. And I write down the name of the car park and the postcode that I'm heading for, and then I have 2 others as a backup on my list. So if the first one is full, I'll go to the second one or I'll go to the third one. And usually I get parked before I get to the third one. So whether that's because it's a Friday that I tend to come, I'm not sure. But I definitely would recommend coming outside of school holidays if you're able to, because it will be a big difference. If you're staying in any of the main towns in the Lake District, such as Keswick for example, you can get a bus from Keswick to Grasmere, and that might be easier for you than worrying about parking and paying the expensive parking rates. The National Trust has car parks where if you have a blue badge you park for free, but unfortunately most of the car parks seem to be run by the council or privately owned, and even if you have a blue badge you still have to pay. So this is my last morning in Grasmere and I'm just going to go for a hike before I go home. I'm just at the start of the trail now, going up Silverhow, and there are some sheep walking right in front of me. So I'm around halfway up now. As you can see how nice the views are behind me. The sun's just starting to come out. So far, even though it's a Saturday morning, I've got the route to myself, so let's see what it's like when I get to the top. I'm about 3/4 of the way up to the top now. So now I've got a view of Grasmere Lake and Grasmere Village. Now you need to cross this bit at the stream and climb up the rocks. I've now reached the summit of Silverhow. From here you've got fantastic views over Grasmere Lake and Grasmere Village, and further in the distance towards other lakes. Grasmere Lake is one of the smaller lakes in the Lake District. It's only 1 mile long and a half a mile wide. The island in the middle is owned by the National Trust. The weather's really unpredictable in this area. The same as in Scotland, you can have all seasons in one day basically. Today I've had really strong winds, I've had rain, I've had sun, so it can really vary. So if you want to come hiking in the Lake District, you do need to bring waterproof boots and a waterproof jacket in your bag, because even in midsummer you just don't know what the weather's going to be like. And today's hike, it's been very boggy at the top and wet because it's been raining the last few days, so waterproof boots were really essential today. I've now reached the end of my hike from Silverhow. My accommodation is just behind me, one of the buildings there. So have you been to the Lake District before, or would you like to visit? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.